Welcome to the video. My name is Lee Eldridge. I am a human performance coach that works specifically with business dads. In this video, I'm going to give you the 4 things that actually help you to be more engaged and more present with your children, enabling you to be a better dad and a better leader in the office and at home. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, thanks for joining us. As I mentioned, in this video we're going to talk about presence and the importance of this. Having spent the last 20 years working in elite performance with athletes and CEOs, business people, being present and engaging in what you are doing is the true performance enhancer. Too many of us try to focus on so many things at once that we don't actually achieve what we need to when we need to. So in this video, as I mentioned, I'm going to give you 4 ways to help you become more present and engaged as a dad and therefore as a leader. So let's get to it. The first point is to create dedicated time. This might sound really simple, but is it easy? I don't think so. Likewise, things that are easy are not necessarily simple, and we need to understand that fact. We live in a world where people are trading on attention. People are trying to get your attention, I'm trying to get your attention, people are trying to get my attention. We have to create some dedicated time to spend with our children that we put in our diary. This is not turning our children into a client or into a colleague. What it is doing is creating a very structured boundary, very similar to a date night with your partner, with your wife. We have to create this dedicated, protected time. What this also does is it means that over the course of a year, we have regular time with our children. Doesn't mean that, we don't see them all year and then we spend 2 weeks on holiday, 2 weeks at Christmas. What it does is it allows us to check in on a regular basis, develop that emotion, develop that a relationship with them. Very similar to how you work from a business leadership point of view. I'm sure that hopefully as a leader you are checking in with the people around you. How are you doing? What are you enjoying? But do we do this with our children? No, because we just expect it to happen. So my first point is, please go and create dedicated time to spend with your children. Point number 2 is be an active listener. Listening is by far the biggest element to any form of communication. When we talk about communication, we think about what we say, what we do, how we put our message out there. But actually, it's listening is a thing that's going to drive us forward in our relationships and enable us to be a better leader. What is active listening? So active listening is listening not to respond. And if you want to find out a great author, go and have a look at Steve Covey's 5 Factors of Highly Effective People. And you'll find that the idea is to listen, and we're not listening to respond. I think too often when we're talking to our children, or especially when we're talking to our direct reports, sometimes we hear something and automatically our brain is starting to think, right, I know the solution, I know the answer. And it's something that we do innately, is that we want to help, we want to be the rescuer, we want to step in and support the people around us. But what happens is if we jump in too fast, we only hear about the problem. We don't hear about the root cause, because we're trying to fix the problem, whereas actually what we should be addressing is the root issue. And that's a big thing that I think lots of us get wrong, because sometimes the conversation that we have with our children is on a completely different level to the conversations that we'll have in business, with our partner, around the different areas of our lives. So just by taking that time, and all you're going to do is you're going to listen. That's it. Be an active listener. The next point is to practice mindfulness or meditation. However you want to term it, it doesn't really matter. The key is that what you are trying to do is you're trying to become present, start to feel your body, start to get in touch with what's going on. If you can do this, you will have a heightened sense of self-awareness. You'll have a better relationship with yourself. If as dads we can have better relationships with ourselves, we can become better leaders. We can lead our teams with enthusiasm, with driving them forward. But we can also do that from a fact of being at home with our children. The area of mindfulness and meditation from a research point of view is enormous. There are so many positive benefits from mindfulness and meditation. So if we can start to practice that, and ultimately what will happen is that we can get our children to start to think about it, we can start to help them develop a skill that is proven to help them in all walks of life, whether that's concentration, focus, stress response, relationships, understanding themselves better, understanding their emotions, their feelings, why they say certain things, why they act certain ways, all those things, okay, just by getting in to doing that practice. So if you are not doing any mindfulness, meditative practice, or even some breath work, you need to start thinking about that. If you're interested in breath work, I've got loads of videos in the channel. I'll put a link in the description to some of the breath work practices that I've recorded to help guide you through that. The last point is to create rituals. We live, as I've mentioned before, in a fast-paced society. I'm sure if you looked at your week on a Monday morning compared to a Friday evening, how many changes in terms of client meetings, conversations, lots of different things that have popped up and you've had to adjust and you've had to adapt, which is great. And that's the art of developing and being adaptable in a high performance environment. But we have to create rituals, things that our children know are going to happen, whether that is on a Friday afternoon or a Friday evening, you go for a walk around the neighbourhood, you get your bike out with your children, or whether it is bath time or whether it's bedtime routine, anything like that where you just create some form of structure so that your children know that this happens at this particular time and we do this particular thing with our dad. That can be super beneficial to developing a stronger relationship. Very similar to if you create rituals in your company or in your business as a leader, because you are creating a culture and it's up to you to design that culture, to implement that culture and to adapt that culture to what you see fit and where you want to drive the business and yourself as a dad. And that for me is exciting. That is the point of why we become parents. We become parents because we want to have this innate relationship with this individual or these individuals if we've got siblings and we've got 2 children, 3 children, etc. So take that opportunity, go out and create some rituals that you can stick to. I hope you enjoyed the video with those 4 tips, and just start to incorporate 1 or 2 things and develop some structure in the week will help you significantly in making sure that you are there. And we can all talk about presence, we can all talk about engagement, and it is a real difficult thing for lots of us because we have great ideas, we have moments of things that we need to do and we can't forget them. But we know from a scientific point of view that if we can think and concentrate on one thing at a time, we become better people, we perform better, we get more out of it. Too many times I see dads, unfortunately, that are not engaged with what their children are doing. They're going down the park, they're on their phone, their child is doing amazing things, they're trying to get their attention all the time, but dad is not there engaged with them. So just take some time and think about the importance of presence and how engaged in presence have you been over the last week, and how can you improve that going forward. If you're interested in this area, there is a link in the description to the newsletter. Each week, this newsletter is not only about tips and tricks and all the learnings that I kind of take on board, but real life case studies of business dads that are going through exactly the same struggles as you and I, and they share, and it's amazing. So if you're interested in that, link in the description. As always, subscribe, like, do what you need to do. Thanks for the support of the channel, and I will speak to you soon.